This program has been brought to you by Whiff, the washed and fine fragrance detergent guaranteed to make your custom garments smell fresher and last longer. Just imagine wrapping yourself in a cloud of freshness every time that you use Whiff, the washed and fine fragrance detergent. Your clothes and nose will thank you. All right, let's get this cracking.
You memorize it?
No.
Say it different every time.
Can you picture this? You know, rocking with CYPT. Podcast of the D with Clay and the crew. It's like my CTV. They be giving game out so much, you could take the same route. Especially if you take risks, this YouTube, you make sense. Yeah, I tapped in and got what I was looking for. They ain't nothing like the news. They be dropping juice to help you get your foot in the door. For real, I'm a witness. This show helped me with my business. I really messed up so much shit until I took the time to listen. Can you picture this? Now I'm always in my own brand. Thanks to my favorite channel panel putting on for the homeland. I'm just saying, it's like giving back. How real is that? See, I be feeling that. Plus it's a vibe, so I swear, yeah. Can you picture this? You know, rocking with CYPT. Podcast of the D with Clay and the crew. It's like my CTV. They be giving game out so much, you could take the same route. Especially if you take risks, this YouTube, you make sense.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? You're listening to the CYPT podcast. It's the podcast of the strongest, fastest, most powerful print shop on this side of the Eastern Seaboard.
Oh.
Ooh. I'm just not.
It's your boy Boogie behind the camera.
And I'm Clay. And today, we got a special guest in the house. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I am special. Thank you.
You are.
Thank you so much.
You are. Everybody's special when they come to the CYPT podcast.
My name is Ericka Murria, and I am the executive director and founder of Supreme Transitions, nonprofit agency here in Detroit, expanding to Montgomery, Alabama. I am also one of the co-creators of the Single Mommy Hustle podcast.
Okay.
And I am Imani and Elisa's mom.
Okay.
That's how you do an intro.
That's
how you do an intro.
I always have to bring my babies with me.
So tell us a little bit more about Supreme Transitions.
Supreme Transitions was founded almost 14 years ago here in Detroit.
All right.
Birthed out of my struggle, being a single mom, experiencing homelessness, domestic violence, poverty, lack of education. And in true Detroit fashion, you got to know how to move. You got to know how to retain information. You know how to pass on information, barter and exchange. And I decided, after being tired of working through another company that I owned at the time, a party promotions company called Team Supreme Productions, that I wanted to give back to other women that were experiencing things the same way that I was.
Okay.
And so did my research and formalized my 501c3.
Which is a nonprofit, right?
It is a nonprofit.
Okay.
And then my church gave me my first office in their building, Empowerment Temple, Pastor Reggie Rose. And then it just continued to grow and expand. As I continue to grow as a national advocate on domestic violence, sexual assault, LGBTQ, domestic and sexual violence, and child welfare and child support. All of those intersections, and homelessness intersections with Black domestic violence in our community and the services that we need. The work that we do is considered culturally specific. Basically, it's for us, by us.
Like FUBU. All right.
Our program is designed around the idea and the truth that I know how to help you because I am you.
Right.
I understand what we go through. I understand what we need. I understand how we talk, how we don't talk, the different ways that we seek help. And then we decided to apply for federal funding because everything was 100% grassroots. And so after that, I was kind of pushed to get the money. And in our first year, we did over $1 million.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Well, tell us a little bit about.
You ain't say all that. You ain't say all that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your story. Like, yeah, I want to hear like your story and what made you so want to get involved and dedicated to helping other people. So you had to have a strong reason behind this whole thing that's going on with Supreme Transitions.
Yeah, well, shout out to District 7. Well, Detroit is now in this area called District 7. This is my hood. This is my neighborhood. I walk down Schoolcraft from Mark Twain to Roller Wheels with all of my friends. My grandma stayed on Mark Twain. My other grandma stayed on Burlingame and Grand River. So I'm from this area. My mom then bought her house on 7 Mile, my parents, I should say, because I come from a two-family household,
Okay.
which is interesting
That's-
and a whole nother conversation altogether. Thank you. But that's a whole nother conversation when we talk about dynamics in the black community, because people thought that was so weird. Like, you and your sister got the same parents? Like, yeah, and they married.
Dang, they think that's weird now?
No, then.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's wow.
Yeah. We would always get those type of questions. But, so 12 generations in this area. My grandfather still owns, and he's passed on, but still owns 12 properties in this area. My paternal side still has multiple properties in this area. I ran for city council in this area. So I'm happy to be here with you in District 7, off Schoolcraft. But growing up in Detroit, and coming from a family of men, very, very, very diverse men that understood how to make a living, however they needed to make a living, I was exposed to a lot of different things. But still wasn't allowed to get off the porch.
Okay.
But then with my own life experiences and becoming a teen mom, I was 16 when I had Imani. I experienced a lot of societal issues. So trying to fit into programs, trying to find the type of lifestyle that my parents provided for me, it was hard because I didn't fit into anything. I was too old or too young or too much education or not enough education, or, you had to work first. That was the thing at the time when you applied for DHS benefits. And so as I continue to navigate, trying to find stability, when I didn't fit those programs, I retained the information. And then I would always meet somebody like a day or so later that was in the same situation. And I'm like, oh yeah, you got to call Clay. Like, they got the so-and-so and the blah, blah, blah. I don't make that, but you probably fit. And so that turned into me doing community-based work without even knowing it, and sharing resources without knowing that terminology or what it was that I was doing. And so then as I continue to grow, working in the workforce, and people were always drawn to me and my sister. When social media started popping, we would post the parties we was throwing, the parties we were attending. That turned into a business within itself. But I would see other young women similar to myself, and they couldn't navigate in the world in Detroit's nightlife scene, and it would almost break my heart. And I had this moment where I had to decide: can my daughters handle the lifestyle that I live and the world that I'm able to navigate? Without drowning. I could turn down the advances. I could turn down all of the things that was coming towards me, but I'm looking at these other girls that are drowning in Detroit. And so I was like, you know what? Before I introduce my daughters to this as a norm, and I don't know the type of women that they'll become, I need to show them another lifestyle. And then God spoke to my heart and was like, when you move, your whole life gonna change. And I didn't know what that meant. And
So
I started writing.
growing up as a young lady, when did this homelessness and this violence start with yourself?
My mom passed when I was 16 years old, and then I was pregnant, and I had my first daughter my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And unfortunately, in our community, when someone passes away, it causes a lot of issues in the family dynamic. And I was like, you know what? I just go find somewhere to live on my own.
And that's where it all started.
Yeah, I packed my baby up and everything I could fit in diaper bags, and I went and moved in with one of my homegirls from high school. Her mom had just passed away.
Okay.
And so we just stayed at her mom's house until we couldn't stay there no more. And then it was figuring out, how do I get a house? How do I pay bills? How do I get a car? How do I do all these things, but not subscribe to the different cultures in Detroit that put you at risk? But I ended up in an intimate partner relationship with someone in one of those cultures that exposed me to sexual assault. And so I was sexually assaulted on my 21st birthday. And that was the biggest secret that I ever had until 2016, 17. So 12 years. My rape kit sat untested in a Detroit warehouse, which was national news, about the 11,490 rape kits that were abandoned. Mine was one of them. And so then in 2016, I had an opportunity to pursue my case, and I did.
So it was your birthday. Take me back. Take me back to what happened. Like how, like, and if you want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
How did this happen on your birthday of all days? This is
Yeah.
supposed to be like a fun and exciting day.
It was a
for
fun
you,
day.
and then
It was an
you
exciting
end up-
day.
This ended up happening to
It
you.
was an amazing day, actually, because the person that I was dating was everything. You know, money wasn't an option. So, of course, the morning was, you know, hair and nails and shopping and pre-gaming with friends. Because I'm a granny's baby. So I always stopped by my grandma's house. So I went to one granny, then went down the street to the other granny. And then me and my friends left from my grandma's house to go to the bar on 8 Mile.
You 21. It's time for you
It's on.
to turn up.
We had a wonderful time.
Okay.
Friends came from everywhere. Of course, everything was limitless. It was some drama in the bar, 20-somethings. There was some drama in the bar, so we all had to leave. And my guy had something else to do. And so I was stuck with friends that I didn't really want to be stuck with. And we went to a gas station, and I was upset because now y'all ruining my birthday. Everything was perfect until this moment. So we're at a gas station on 8 Mile, and some of the girls that were causing problems pulled in. And my boyfriend at the time, his cousin, who I knew, was like, get in the car. You get in the car with me. You got to make sure you're okay. So I got in the car with him. And then we ended up somewhere on the east side. I'm not from the east side. We ended up on the east side, and I didn't know where I was, and I didn't want to get out the car. And
This is your boyfriend's cousin. Okay.
As you met him before, like this is a
been knowing
trusted
him for a
person.
long time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I've been
okay.
in this relationship for a couple years by this
Okay.
time. Yeah.
And where was the boyfriend at?
He had something else to do. He left the bar before we did.
Oh, okay.
So you felt completely safe getting
I
in the
felt
car with this.
completely
Completely
so.
safe. Okay, so you
this
go to
is
This
a
is
friend.
fam.
This
This
is
is
family.
fam.
Yeah.
So you on the east side with your boyfriend's cousin, okay?
And some of my friends came too. They drove in their own car and they came too.
Okay.
But one of my friends, she was dating another friend, and that was his house. She had been there before.
Okay.
So she was comfortable 100%. I'm a Leo. I'm a brat. So I was like, I ain't going in. Y'all can figure out, give me a cab, call Checker or somebody to take me home. Matter of fact, get my boyfriend on the phone, tell him come get me now. I don't care what he doing. And so they was like, we can't leave you outside, dog. Like, come in the house.
Right.
So everybody went in. I eventually came in the house. And when I woke up, I was being assaulted by 2 different men.
You say when you
Woke up.
How were you asleep? Like you got drugged or?
I don't know. I know we were all in the basement, sitting just like this. You know, it was set up with couches and everything. I do remember people pouring drinks. I do remember eventually having a sip of a drink, but I don't remember
But
anything.
when you left the bar, you wasn't that
No,
intoxicated.
It was it wasn't. I wasn't drunk at all when we left the bar. And then the issue at the gas station with the girls, like you instantly sober up when people acting crazy, So I was 100% coherent headed to the east side.
Until you got to the house where
Yeah.
obviously somebody slipped you something.
I don't know because, and here's another issue with that rape kit backlog, my kit was damaged. So the next morning, they drove me around in the back seat of some guy's car, I don't know. They went to like different barbershops and stuff, and they were like wasting time before they took me home. So, but as soon as they took me home, I called 911 and got an ambulance and went to the hospital. So I did the kit immediately. I did all of the things, the blood work or whatever. But fast forward to 12 years later, my kit was damaged. They had to explain to me what the kit was because I don't recall anybody explain that to me when it happened. but they had to explain to me what the kit was. My question was, where is my tote bag? Because I remember going to the hospital with a birthday gift that my aunt gave me because I love tote bags. And it was like a Monopoly board tote bag, and that's what I brought my clothes in. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen it since.
Okay, so what's all involved? What's all in this rape kit? Like, and why and how was it damaged?
Well, I am not a rape kit SANE nurse expert. I cannot say exactly all of the things that are inside of a kit. But when you get a rape kit done, it is a forensic exam on your body and your lower extremities. It is invasive. They do take a sample of any hair that you have. They do blood work. They do prevention, medication to make sure that you are not pregnant or have any STI, STDs. And then you talk to someone from the police department, and you talk to a SANE nurse, and they have like this whole questionnaire type
and
thing.
then you say it was damaged. Was it damaged to the point where they couldn't?
No, it had got tested. Everything had got tested.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've never seen. If I have seen it, I don't recall the results of anything.
Hopefully, they convicted these guys. Did they catch them?
No, there's only one person. Yeah, it was only one person. It was my boyfriend's cousin.
Okay, so he did get.
No, he's still free right now today.
Oh wow!
You said 12 years later you found out it was damaged?
Yes, so when you go
Why does it take 12 years?
Well, for some people it's taking longer than that.
And
Are you kidding me? For a rape kit?
Yeah, so
12 years?
It was over 11,000 untested rape kits that were left in an abandoned police warehouse. It's national news.
That is asinine. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Where was the boyfriend?
Living his life. I don't know.
Just never.
Oh, my boyfriend.
Yeah,
oh,
like what?
the boyfriend's cousin.
No, the boyfriend's cousin. All that happened on the east side. When did he find out what happened? Where was he?
From what I understand, he found out like the next day, like when I went to the hospital.
And spazzed on everybody?
I don't know, because my dad picked me up from the hospital, and my dad was like, "Don't talk to him ever again. That's his family member. You know, loyalties are with family members, and unfortunately this happened, and I just want you to be safe. Like, we don't know."
Did at all anybody feel like that he was a part of all this?
No.
No? So you say you come from a family of like surrounded with strong men, right?
Yes.
So
they didn't know. That was a secret until I did the documentary.
No, that's not what the question. So you say nothing happened to him. I know they were furious and that they want to seek any type of retribution on your behalf.
You know where we from, absolutely.
Okay, that's all. If that type of justice wasn't served, I was just wondering.
Well, I don't know. Okay. I don't know anything about any of those things.
Okay, so
I just know that my family was encouraged to, do us right, and I believe they have.
So, like, what did that do to you mentally?
A lot.
And can you talk about that a little bit? Like,
Absolutely.
how were you feeling, like, going throughout the years, and at what point did you want to do something about that, the way you were feeling, so you can help other young women that's been in your situation?
That never was my driving force in the beginning.
No?
Really?
No. In the beginning, because you got to understand, like, the victim blaming culture is real, and we have to be very careful about how we casually talk about things. So after this happened to me, nobody knew in my family and in my friend circle that this happened to me. And so I was still living life as if nothing happened to me. You didn't tell a
friend, a close friend, nobody, you just kept it all in?
The only people who knew were the people who were there. Yep. And my dad, right? And so I'm still hanging out with family members, because I got a huge family, so I don't really need a whole lot of friends. So as I'm hanging out with cousins, and you overhear your favorite male cousin say, "Oh yeah, she a 304. Oh yeah, she lying on people. She this," and you start hearing some of these conversations and how other women who have been assaulted have told now, and then everybody start talking about her. You really start going even further into yourself, like, I'm not about to be the one.
You don't want to be the next one they talking about.
And then people start asking you all kind of questions I don't really got answers for. And then if you don't understand, now I understand the neuroscience behind trauma. and how things like this affect your brain. And so police have to be continuously trained, and advocates have to be continuously trained on the neuroscience of trauma, because it's hard to recall these things. I just said it to you in sequence and in order. In that moment, I couldn't. And so you get discredited. And so it's like, well, ma'am, didn't you just say you was at this store? But then now you saying, so it's not making sense. Well, you really can't tell me what color your shirt was? No. But it's your 21st birthday. You don't remember what you had? No. And then so fragmented, because of the way trauma affects our brains and our bodies, that it makes people come off as not credible. So then when you have a scab, right, to protect a wound, your body, your brain does that. So when that traumatic incident happens, instantly you're going to get a scab to cover that thing. And so if you keep picking at it, now things are coming up. It will cause, if you don't have services in place, it will cause you to act out in different ways. Some people are promiscuous. Me, myself, I went completely inside of myself and became like extremely private and introverted. But, you know, some people are self-medicating. I was self-medicating. I was drinking. I was doing all the things except crack. Okay?
No crack.
Look, no dope, no type of things of that nature. But, you know, I most definitely was drinking a lot.
Now, did you feel inside yourself that you were okay?
Oh, yeah. Because, and we got to be honest about our community. We convince ourselves, oh, she all right. Oh,
Right.
you fine.
And you felt that you were
just,
all right.
Yeah, I'm just
So
20-something.
Years later, did you find out that you was not
a functioning, dysfunctional person.
What was the revelation?
Yeah.
So throughout that process of after doing the kid, and the police literally looking me in my face saying, telling my dad, sir, your daughter never have a day in court. I can recall the police officer telling my dad, I can take you to a storage unit where there's a whole bunch of people in front of her and we'll probably never get to him. I remember him saying the machines were broken and they didn't have the money to fix it. So hearing that, I'm like, well, damn, nobody's gonna fight for me. There's no need for me to stand in the front screaming and yelling, you know what I mean, like, and making noise. I may as well just do whatever I gotta do, keep living, because I had a daughter. So it's like, how do I keep living every day and functioning every day? So I just pushed it all down and kept living, kept going to school, kept going to work, kept doing all the things until I found myself extremely suicidal. And being raised in the Baptist church, I knew the things that I was hearing in my heart and in my head around suicide wasn't healthy. And then when I started contemplating an actual plan, like the language I'm using now, I didn't have then. And so we have to know, if someone has a plan, that's a scary place.
And nothing else in your life was happening at that time. You were just having these thoughts of suicide,
literally,
out of nowhere.
And just being tired of being poor because I wasn't dealing with the fast lane people. And I was like, I'm just going to work. I'm just going to go to school.
You were dealing with that issue also, the homelessness, you said.
Yeah, so at the time of the suicidal thoughts and ideations, I had somewhere to stay. It was over there on Plymouth, the little scary apartment or whatever the case. And it wasn't good. It was horrible. It wasn't to the standard of living that I liked. I didn't see a way out. I didn't see a way to make more money to get out. And I just felt trapped. And a few friends of mine invited me to bowling. And they, all guys, they were like, man, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, And they invited me to come to Montgomery. They were all in school playing, at Alabama State in basketball. And they invited me to come to Montgomery to hang out for a weekend. And I took my daughter with me. And when we got there, I was like, oh my God, it's clouds here. I was like, the sky is blue.
Blue, right. Yeah, no more gray skies.
It was January. And you know what it looks like in Detroit in the winter.
Always gray.
So I'm like, oh my God, they got trees. We don't got trees in Detroit. I vividly remember saying that out loud. We don't got trees in Detroit. And they was looking at me like, what?
Wait, hold on now. We got trees now. They might not look like the ones.
But that depression.
Yeah.
See, your outlook, when your outlook is small and, damp and gloomy, and you don't see a future for yourself, you don't see the trees, So I was like, oh, I'm staying here. And I did. I stayed in Montgomery. They ended up moving back to Detroit. I had done rebuilt the whole life. Then started working at an apartment complex and got my baby enrolled in daycare and met friends and just built a whole life and stayed.
So let's fast forward to the start of Supreme Transitions.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That was after I came back from Montgomery.
That was after you came back from Montgomery. And what are some of the services and things that you do for the young ladies that's in Detroit?
For sexual assault or domestic violence?
Everything.
So, yep, after I came home around the time of the Super Bowl, when Super Bowl was in Detroit.
Right.
So, I came home. It was Monty's birthday weekend. And
Why did you come back here?
it was Monty's birthday weekend.
Oh, that's
and Super
why
Bowl.
you came back
It was
here.
Super Bowl weekend. Yeah. Like, I wanted to be able to be a part of what was happening in the city. And it's my baby's birthday. Her daddy's here. Her family's here. Like, we're going to do Imani's birthday and do the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I came back. My grandmother was sick. And I said, I can't go back to Montgomery yet. And it seemed like things just kept happening for me to have to stay. And so now I'm homeless all over again. But now I'm not living in a shelter. I'm living in my grandma's basement, you know. And I'm not okay. But I'm like, if I can do it in Montgomery with absolutely no help and just built everything from the ground up, I know I can do it here. And so that's what I did. I enrolled in some training classes and started working in the healthcare industry. Then, like I said, I started the nightlife and party promotions company to offset that money that I was making at Beaumont. And I went to a conference, and they were talking about building a micro enterprise. And this conference was hosted by Kaylin Risker. Now her name is Kaylin Foy. And it was for survivors of domestic violence. And I'm just curious and a nerd. So I'm like, I'm going to go get all this information for free. But people start recognizing me from the clubs and the party life. And were like, can you pray for me? I'm like, pray for you?
They recognized you from the club and asked, could you pray for me?
Because I was saving people. I was literally at the bar. We got some stories.
Wowzers.
I was literally like saving people and putting them in my car and taking them home, buying people groceries. It was a lot. So they was like, can you pray for me? So I'm missing the bulk of the conference, literally talking to people in the hallway and or praying for people in the hallway. And when I came back in, my current mentor, she wasn't my mentor at the time. Her name is Sheila Umi Hankins. She was on the stage, and she asked the group, about 500 women, why are you here? What's your company's name? And what do you want to gain from this conference? And as they start going through the tables, nobody was saying that. So I'm like, why am I here? I can't even network. Like, everybody kept standing up saying my name is and I'm a survivor of. And when it came to my table, you know, everybody was laughing because we were cracking jokes and things. And then when it got to our table, everybody got quiet and was like, I don't want to talk. So I'm like, well, I'll talk. Like, hi, my name is Ericka, and I'm a survivor of, and it was like a whole anvil just crashed down on top of my head, and I just started vomiting out, like, I'm a survivor of homelessness and domestic violence and sexual assault and, like, all this stuff. And then Kaylin came over and was like, you know what, I'm going to help you. And she started meeting with me at Fairlane Mall to talk about what I was passionate about. So Supreme Transitions is birthed from my passion and I believe my purpose here on earth to help other Black women and men and the LGBTQ community members that experience violence from intimate partner and non-intimate partner circumstances. So started my nonprofit in less than a year. Like I said, we had an office, and the services that we provided in the beginning was just 5 core areas. And I cannot remember because that was 14 years ago, but I know it was 5 core areas. That was my elevator pitch. But it was like childcare, transportation, like all of the things that somebody would need to become totally self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. And the difference between Supreme Transitions then and now is that we don't have a cookie cutter approach. Mm-hmm. So having a real-time conversation with you saying, what do you need? Your own food stamps, your own cash assistance. What do you need to be totally self-sufficient today? What is your big goal? And talking to people and literally mapping that thing out. And then it's not so much holding their hand, but I'm going to stand next to you, and I'm going to hold you accountable for everything on that list until you accomplish that entire list.
Oh. So you get a list of things that these young ladies may need. Now,
men.
And men as well. Okay. So the government gives you funds for this?
Now.
Oh, they okay. So
It was all out of pocket then.
How did you fund that type of activity?
Lance, what I just say? They asked me what I do and who I do it for.
So you were coming out of your own pocket
100%.
from being a hustler in Detroit.
Because I can do it.
Making it happen. So you really had a passion for like helping people. And when you got a strong passion for helping people, things come back your way so you can help them more.
I'm telling you. All you got to do is just do it.
Amazing.
I was blown away. People ask me still to this day, like, how did you have a women's empowerment conference at Roberts Riverwalk Hotel? I had massage therapists on the water doing free massages. KFC catered. Like, KFC has never catered for anybody but Supreme Transitions.
He was getting to
Didn't
that.
even know KFC catered.
He was getting to that bag.
I can do it. They brought me a birthday cake. I mean, and so it's so amazing for me today when I see the Eddie Connors, Dorothea Kellys, all these different people. The tequila brand, what's her name? Nyana Ferguson now is her last name, I believe. Like, they all spoke at my first women's empowerment conference, and I couldn't pay them nothing. I was like, just come, help me, help other people. And so, like, to see, like, in 10 plus years, how I believe them sewing into me and the community has just blown them out of the water, out of their wildest dreams, because all of us, and I'm going to say that class, are doing so much nationally, not even just in Detroit, but nationally. So, but yeah, Supreme Transition started, and it was all out of my pocket. Yep, and so I did take a break, because I know that was one of y'all questions. I did take a break when I had the opportunity to talk about my sexual assault case and film the documentary, ripping off those wounds that I never, ever, ever dealt with.
There was a documentary?
It is a documentary. It's one of my company's names, I Am Evidence. It's
Tell
on
me about
HBO.
It's on HBO now.
And that we're talking about all those rape kits. I believe. I think I've seen that, and I've seen that on the news. At one point, it was a big thing about all those rape kits that wasn't tested. Now, did they finally catch up?
All of our kids here in Detroit and Wayne County, I believe in Michigan, all of our kids are tested 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Supreme Transitions? They had something to do with that?
So we did. We participated with the AA 490 challenge. So the documentary it's on HBO. It's called I Am Evidence, and it is produced by Mariska Hargitay from Law and Order SVU. Everybody know Liv. Yeah. So she wanted to do something about the national problem. But Kim Worthy had made our issue a national problem and was raising a lot of hell about the lack of funds to test the kids. And so they partnered, and then they came together, or Kim Worthy and Kim Trent and some other leaders, black female leaders, came together, and they started the AA 490 challenge, because the bulk of those kids that were untested were black women. So they were like, it's our job to help our sisters get their kids tested. And so Supreme Transitions, I was on that task force to raise the money. Shout out to Ericka Badu and her concert that year. That was a lot of help, and several other smaller efforts. But collectively, it got done. Our kids are tested. And one of the things that Kim Worthy promised was that it would be now a tracking system. Her thought was, if you can track a FedEx package or your Amazon package, you should be able to track your kit. There's no way that once this kit is, conducted on a person, that you have no idea what the next steps are.
So you're able to see
in real time
where they at with your particular rape kit.
And it's a big blessing. And Avalon Healing Center here in Detroit used to be Wayne County Safe. They were the primary consultant for providing the services for anyone who wanted to move forward with their kit, because it is optional. And so now they have the space to house the kids.
Okay.
And I'm smiling about it. I get a chill about it. When I toured the new facility, and my advocate, who assisted me at that time of my trial, when she took us on a tour, and she was like, oh yeah, and behind that wall, that's where the kids are. They're safe. And I was like, oh, man, because people just compartmentalize the idea of a kit as just a box. It's just a kit. It's just a test.
That's a person's
but
life.
It's us. It's people. And that's one of the most requoted parts of the documentary of when I say that, like, it's more than just a box, it's a person, you know. And so we have to humanize the human beings, women, men, genderless, you know, everyone that experienced sexual violence. Is so hard, and the shame is real in the Black community, and so it makes it even harder to seek services and to heal. What? Huh?
Nothing.
Your eyebrows going all in like that?
I'm listening. I'm listening. Because it's a lot. No, I just really appreciate what you're doing for the community. When you have been, I had a friend and she was victimized, and you do internalize it. You don't tell anyone. You know, you do feel hopeless. You feel like, you know, like you said, you don't want to be labeled. You don't. You were something was taken from you. You know,
a lot.
And I wish I knew you then, so that I could have told her where to go or who to talk to. Because as a young man in Detroit, those type of situations don't really happen to me. But I wish I knew where to tell her where to go. I didn't. There wasn't you, as far as I know.
But that's why I'm here. And again, we don't do that cookie cutter approach. We are truly community based. I'm not about to stand up on a pedestal at the congressional office. No, I'm going to be right in the hood at the grocery store. I'm going to the fashion show. I just went to Dream Rich's fashion show with flyers, with brochures. I'm going to the places. I'm going to Ridge Park.
You doing the footwork.
Yeah, because I'm a human being. I don't care where people put me in their mind. I'm still Ericka from Schoolcraft. You know, I still get my gas right there. Like, I still hang out at a friend's house right down the street. Regardless of how much national work or national notoriety that I get outside of that documentary and for the individual work that I do as a consultant for our community and policy change, I'm still me. Like, y'all have had all these interactions with me, and I'm coming in here silly every time. Right. And hungry, because I be trying to get here early.
I wanted to ask you about that. How did you come to Can You Picture This?
Tess.
Tess.
Lance, I told you I was gonna remember his name. Tess, hey Tess. Shout out to Tess and his whole family.
Shout out to Tess.
Yeah. So you all know Tess, right?
Yeah, we know Tess. We know Tess. Tess was up here yesterday.
Tess
was
just here. Tell him I said hey. He's so nice. Yeah. He is so nice and he's so professional. So I was traveling. And like I said, a lot of the national work that I do, I'm always on, as the kids say, demon time. I be retaining what they say, and I be trying to use it.
That's where there's no language barrier. Yeah. You can speak to them in their language.
And they can talk to me. I know what you're saying. I be trying to keep my ear to the ground. So I was running around like crazy, and I'm like, oh God, we need these shirts. Our team needs these shirts. And so somebody was like, oh, Grand River and Greenfield and whatever it's called, 7 Days West. And when I went in, he was smiling. I'm like, hey, you look nice. You help people? He's like, yeah, what you need? So he started flipping through, and he was really quick. And what I loved was he was professional, he was fast, and the quality. When I got that shirt, oh man. I was like, okay, shirt.
That makes us feel so good to let everybody know that we the most.
It was so fast.
Fast.
I'm telling you.
Strong. Yeah. And powerful.
And the quality.
And good quality. Print shop this side of the Eastern Seaboard.
So yeah, but that's how I got connected. And then when I came back to get the shirts, he just started asking me questions. He was like, "What do you do?" And I told him real quick, and then he went and bagged some stuff, and he was like, well, do you need a transportation service? I was like, we do actually need a ride to the airport tomorrow. Like, you available? So his transportation service, you know, they supplied the service for a few people on my team, our national team. And then I was in the bind again. Tess. I'm in the bind, Tess.
I'm in the bind, Tess.
And I went back over there looking for my friend. I couldn't remember his name or nothing. And I'm like, where the boy at? And they was like, oh, the boy down the street. So I found this one,
Right.
and
Came
came
to
over
the
here.
other location. Okay.
And I haven't seen him in here yet.
He was here yesterday.
He was here
actually.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't be coming on the good days. Then. I just want to say thank you. He's a really nice person.
I'll certainly relay the message and have him view this podcast and say, hey, listen.
Yes,
Somebody had
because I
something
think
good to say about you.
the second from last time when I was running out of here, and I'm like, what's the guy name? We need a transportation. He took someone from my team that day, that weekend. So he's been really good. He's been really good. Thank you all.
So you finally get some help from, I guess, the government or whoever funds 501c3s. And how has that helped you expand and reach more women? And what have they done for you?
Well, we did it for ourselves.
Okay. You did, of course. You put all this together, and you made
But
it
nobody
happen.
knocking on no doors saying, Ericka, here go the dollars.
Right. But how has it helped you expand? And
I will
what have
say
you
this.
done?
Let me first. I gotta shout out my city. The people that I'm connected to that know what I do have always said, "Here go a micro grant," and advocated like, "No, y'all need to get them at least 5,000, at least 10,000, or include Supreme Transitions in this, pot of money. Whether it was $250, $10,000, people in Detroit." Will plug you where you need to be. And so I want to say thank you to everybody that's always mentioned my name in rooms that I've never been in before and talked about what we do in the community, because it's just continued to help more people and get the word out that there are people here to help. So eventually I decided I tease a lot. So one of the agencies a national agency that I do consulting for, from the day they met me, they were like, we got to get you funded, federally funded.
Right.
We got to get you with some legs and some gym shoes on and get this program running. And I was like, yeah, okay. Twisted my arm and was like, we're going to help you. We're going to give you technical assistance and training on how to apply. And so I still was like, no, I'm not easily swayed. So I'm like, no. And then I thought about it and I said, okay, look, if y'all gonna pinky promise to answer the phone in the middle of the night and I can bug you and I can call you a lot, then I'll do it. And they said yes, and they stayed true to their word. And so I just followed the steps that they told me to do. I wrote it, I did a budget, I cried, my hair fell out.
So it was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Getting this stuff done.
Yeah.
So you can't
it's
get
like
funded.
a foreign system, a foreign land, a foreign language.
What would you say the biggest roadblock is?
I think for our community, the biggest roadblock is not understanding the multiple steps. It's multiple systems that you have to qualify for. And you can't just write the grant. Like, you really have to plan to write the grant. You have to make sure this system is in place, and then you got the numbers and the response codes, and then that unlocks this system, and then you set that system up, and then do your research on that system and the forms that got to be submitted for each grant. And so with each grant, you have to go through those steps, and I don't think people know that you have to truly plan to write for a grant. You can have a bright idea all day.
I really want you to unpack this. The planning to write a grant. Where do you start with that?
Well, one, you have to be doing the work. It's not a money grab, and the federal government ain't giving us nothing for free.
You got to earn it.
You gonna work for it.
Because I feel like when people hear
And you
grant,
gonna
that's
show
what they
receipts.
think.
No, it is not. Ain't no such thing as a free lunch. We learned that in elementary school.
True.
Some of us in middle school, but no, you most definitely have to be accountable. You have to be responsible, and my favorite color is yellow. You didn't even ask me.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is yellow.
And why? Why is your favorite
Not
color
to be
yellow?
confused with orange,
Not to be confused with
because I
orange.
am never going to jail for nobody.
All right.
We got you right in front of the yellow.
All right.
It's my favorite color. It makes me smile.
Well, you don't got no. You got an orange.
Yeah, you ain't got on the orange.
But it makes me smile.
Okay.
I'm a sun sign, flower sign, fire sign, all the things. So I'm drawn to yellows, corals, and all of that stuff.
Okay.
But it's my favorite color. So, but yeah, planning for the grant, it is a process, and it is not free money. And one, it should be mission driven. So you should be able to talk about what you do, because that grant is literally questions.
After questions.
It's simple questions. These are not hard questions at all.
So where do people fall off at? I feel like people try to get grants all the time and it just doesn't happen. And you've managed to really find the way through. What stops people?
Well, I don't work for nobody but myself, so I got time today. So there's that part. I do have older children. I don't have, special needs in my household. I'm happily single.
Perfect.
So I can do.
So you stay dedicated to.
I can do whatever I want to do.
Making it happen and getting these.
And
grants.
what I want to do is during grant season is lock in and write these grants and continue to fund the mission of what we do. But what I was going to say is fraud is real. And people assume that it's just free money and you can get $625,000 and nobody going to wonder about it. No, they want to know if what you wrote in that grant you're actually doing. And so there's checkpoints after you get the funding. So writing the grant wasn't hard. The preparation for the grant, because I'm super nerdy, from the time I got my 501c3, I had already set up the first system without even knowing it was a prerequisite. So I already had everything in place.
That's pretty nerdy.
Yeah. And we should all be doing our due diligence.
Now, you apply for several grants, or is it just two?
The first year of funding, it was two. We were, and I'm always bragging about it, our first large federal grant funding came through UJIMA, which is the National Black Advocacy Program, for domestic violence in the United States. Shout out to Karma Cotman. And that's my big sister, and her agency is amazing for the Black community and community violence, not just domestic violence, and policy work. And I want to be Karma when I grow up. But Karma did something that changed the world. Y'all got to do the research. Karma got I ain't gonna say the hugest number, but she did get like trillions, and specifically for Black programs that had never been funded before, and to teach us and to train us on how to be sustainable. Because before, that's another thing why we didn't apply, before the federal government said the way that we provide services is dangerous.
What you mean by that?
Because somebody call me and say, I need to get out, I'm ready to go, can you come talk to me? I'm going to pull up at the liquor store, at the laundromat. I'm going to pull up at Cole Funeral Home.
So not having nowhere safe. A safe
the
haven.
assumption is that's not safe, but it is, because I got to trust that you are the expert in your own life. I can't pull up to your house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for you, if he say, oh, I know she going to the grocery store, I'm pulling up to the Kroger's. I'm going to walk down the miles with you. And we're going to build this safety plan, and we're going to build this exit plan. And then you're going to tell me what day and what time is best for my advocate to call you, and what day is best to pull up and get you out of there. And so, but white systems imposed on us what we do as not being safe. And so I was like, I'm good. We'll keep getting it how we get it. We still moving people on the Underground Railroad in Detroit. We moving people into houses and all type of stuff, with just community donations, So I'm like, I'm okay. But then when I start understanding, I deserve to not be as stressed as I was, because I did have a job, and not really agreeing with the standards at the jobs, I quit a job in a heartbeat. Like, this ain't working for me. But I still got kids that need to eat. So it was hard. It was hard for me to find that balance between my passion and my household. And I had to make a hard decision. So when I did, we just stayed 100% grassroots. And then the funding gave me the freedom to breathe, because now I can afford my lifestyle. I can afford my daughter's books for school, or co-pays, or whatever the case, So we just keeping it moving.
What does Supreme Transition look like as far as your building, or how put me in a frame of mind of what I can expect if I was a young lady or a young man that needed your assistance. How what would it look like coming to you? Do you have a building that they come to, or like let me know a little bit about that?
Oh, there is a brick and mortar?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Y'all gonna come through the windows one of these days. So you remind me. So generally we get Facebook messages.
Okay.
I'm just honest. Like generally we get people that be like, hey, I need help, or I got a question, or if I'm at an event, somebody always gonna pull me to the side and like, yeah, my cousin got a problem, and it's always like that.
Asking for a friend.
I'm just a friend, want to know.
For a friend.
And so that's what it generally looks like.
Can I get housed there if I need housing?
You cannot sleep at Supreme Transitions.
Okay.
We are not a housing program. We are a leads and referrals agency to wraparound services, and we also offer case management.
So you can get me to where I need to go.
I absolutely get you where you need to go.
Okay. Okay.
But so, no, we do have 2 offices. We have a virtual office with Bamboo Detroit, and we just in December opened our new location. Our grand opening, we're hoping for Juneteenth this year, and it is large enough for us to house our team. I don't say staff. So for us to house our team, to have a private conference room for people who need to talk to lawyers or police, and child welfare workers. And then our podcast will be there. And we'll also have a non-traditional healing space for yoga, Reiki, and massage. And then we'll have Umi's room, which will be our training room for community conferences. And one of the things we wrote in this new grant is Know Your Rights forums. And so we'll be having different people come in and talk about different systemic things that people just don't know their rights around. So even with child welfare, a lot of people don't know you do not have to let them in your house.
Really?
When they knock on the door, you do not have to let them in your house at all. So
because they're not the police.
No, they ain't got no warrant.
They ain't got no warrant. So they just let them right on in,
and that's what causes a lot of problems. And so it's a lot of different things. And then now we are all branching into a new track of services specifically for the LGBTQ, well, I should say Black LGBTQ community. I am a cisgender heterosexual woman, but I am also an ally too, because I have family members in the Black LGBTQ community.
Of course, we all
do.
And so their community is my community, and that's how I feel. We are connected. And so, but I see gaps and holes when it comes to services for that community that don't treat them well or offer what they need and deserve. I've always taught my daughters that all people deserve love and respect. And so we created this new track of services just for the LGBTQ community that's led by someone in their community to build out that program and make sure that they advocate for each other.
Wonderful.
The way that they should. And I'm using my platform and I'm writing the grants to continue to get the money. So the one tonight I'm submitting is for more money for LGBTQ to expand services to Montgomery, Alabama also, and partner with a trans feminine agency called TWAC, the Trans Women of Color, and the Game Changing Men, which is a trans masculine agency. And this is all new information for me. And what I love is that they give me grace to learn and grow about their community and their needs. I never heard about trans masculine people. So it's been a journey since October, learning about that component of our community or whatever, and all of the things. So I'm excited about what we're doing, but we do have 2 offices. You can make an appointment to come in person, or our primary thing is mobile advocacy. So we're pulling up.
Okay.
On the back of my truck is a Batman decal. I'm pulling up.
It's all about helping people. So if someone else wanted to help other people and get assistance with grants and things like that, what are some suggestions you can give to them to get them pretty much started on what to do? What's the first thing they should do? Who they should reach out to get some of this assistance?
Yeah, so as far as grants are concerned, you got to know your mission and your vision. And then you have to have years of experience. So a lot of times some of the larger federal grants say that you have to have at least 3 years experience. If not, then you have to partner with an agency and if we're talking about domestic violence and sexual assault, you could partner with an agency like Supreme Transitions.
Okay.
So, the grants are very, very plainly written. They'll tell you everything that you need to qualify for that grant. So plan for it. Do your work. Do your due diligence. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Everybody need a UEI number. That used to be done in Bradstreet. Now it's a UEI number. So get your house in order.
UEI number.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I just know it used to be.
I know I heard of a DUNS number.
Yeah.
Now it's a UEI.
It's the same number. They just made it a UEI number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same number. I just know they said your Dun & Bradstreet is now a UEI number. I was like, okay.
All right.
So I knew that the whole time.
Cool.
Ms. Ericka, I really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day to come here and talk about how you help the community. Supreme Transitions is an amazing program. And thank you so much for starting it and really following through with it. I wish I knew about it sooner. And I hope everybody who watches this will really, really take their time and get in touch with you. Speaking of getting in touch with you, can you let everyone know how they can do that?
Yeah, whoever got my number, don't give my personal number out to nobody. The number the number that people can call to get in touch with Supreme Transitions, and most times I will answer, is area code 313-999-4201. We do have a catch-all email. It's supremetransitions@gmail.com. But our website has a Contact Us page where you can see more about the podcast, our programs, our initiatives, and events. And that is supremetransitionscommunity.org.
Any social media?
Everything is Supreme Transitions.
Everything is Supreme Transitions.
Your podcast gonna be fire because you did an
This our 4th year.
wonderful. Oh, really?
Don't play.
That's where you get all this.
Because you are flowing through this.
That's how you flowing through. I'm like, where she come from?
You are flowing through this.
Yeah, you got it going on.
Oh, I do this.
Yeah, you do.
That's
this.
why they pay me the big bucks.
You do.
Where you want?
You asking me why I'm looking like this is because you rocking it.
Yeah, you
I
right.
told y'all when y'all said y'all the podcast, I'm like, y'all supposed to be here.
And you a Leo. So my fellow Leo. Yeah, that's what's up. All right. Boogie, take us out of here.
You have just listened to the Can You Picture This podcast? The podcast for the strongest, fastest, most powerful t-shirt/print shop on this side of the eastern seaboard. You can catch us in the heart of Detroit, Greenfield and Grand River, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Our address is 14223 Greenfield Road, Detroit, Michigan 48227. Our phone number is 313-273-5000. Peace.
I gotta learn how to do that. Liz, I didn't even know you had it in you. This whole time.
I'm so quiet.
Can't expose those superhero friends.
I love seeing people